This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan. With your host, Bradley Summers. And get the latest from Alpena Community College with ACC President Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Bradley Summers, and today our special guest is Justin Christensen Cooper from Art in the Loft.
Hey, hey.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm getting kind of comfortable in this couch.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you look good on the couch,
Hey-o.
man.
All right.
Hey-o. So as sad as it is, it's crazy to think that summer is already winding down.
I can't even.
Yeah, right? It feels like it just started in some sense.
Yep.
You know, and I know right now one of your big events or the big operations that you have going on is your juried art exhibit.
Yeah, you got it. So it's really neat. You know, we wind down our Summer View exhibit, which runs for about 3 months. It opens, you know, right around Memorial Day and ends, you know, right around Labor Day. So we get that meat of the summer and all of our visitors, and it's a great way to showcase. We had 35 artists on display for Summer View, which is just awesome. I mean, we filled every wall, every display. Our staff was even saying how we don't have any more like things shelved to put things on, which is great because we really want to show Northeast Michigan artists in that way. But then there's an opportunity for the gallery to kind of breathe a little bit and get that sort of like urban big city feel, and we get that with our juried art exhibit. And this is now its 8th annual year. And sort of what sets us apart from other juried art exhibits, whether they're in this town or even in this state or nationally, is that we theme them. A lot of the times with juried art exhibits, you'll see like it's a specific medium, or it's just photography, or you know they're hitting a certain region, so it's regional art, which is ours because we get a lot of regional people. But ours is a nationally known juried art exhibit, since we can do all of our submissions online through our website. So anybody from around the country can submit to this, but it has a theme. And we've been, you know, just to give a little history to it, the first ever theme that we did was black and white. And we got a lot of photography, which was great. And that was to celebrate our 15th anniversary. And so that was 7 years ago now. And we did that. We were like, man, we got to really celebrate. We got to amp up what we can do in the fall instead of just getting right into our winter show. So we paired the juried show with our annual fundraiser. And it gave a whole different feel to the gallery. You really felt like not only do you kind of already walk into the gallery and you're like, wow, this is not Alpena, you know, and I take that for granted sometimes, but with the juried show, every piece has space around it to breathe. It has a description of the artist and the work, and it's beautifully formatted, like everything's framed and matted and has great, you know, specialized lighting on it. And the theme that year was black and white, sort of in honor of Susan Lane Bastu, who was sort of an integral part of the foundation of Art in the Loft. Obviously, you have Chuck and Karen Bennett as co-founders, and then other business leaders in the area, artists at the time, that really helped set that up. But we wanted to go back to someone that was part of the arts part of that, and that was Susan Lane, and she was a black and white photography artist. So we themed that first show. Then it was like, okay, that was great, 15th anniversary done. We didn't know what we were gonna do after that. We had such a huge turnout for this themed juried art show that we're like, okay, we got to bring it back again. Let's pair it with our fundraiser again, and then now let's change up the theme. So every year these artists have something new to work towards, and that's kind of the neat thing with this, because you'll get artists stuck in like, they only do oils, they only do photography, they only do sculpture, whatever it might be, but the theme brings out a whole different side of them. And so, for example, there's an artist that comes from, that 3 years running now has shipped work from California to be in our themed shows. And his work is metal work, which I'll segue into here in a second, but he finds a way to theme what he does based around our theme and sends his work to Alpena, Michigan. And so we get this California artist that does that. And then you get our mainstay artists, you know, like Sharon Wade is one of our pastel artists. She teaches classes up at the Loft. She has had an amazing season up at Summerview with selling her artwork because she did all original work. But she was very excited, like, I work in pastel and always in nature, landscapes. How am I going to do metals, you know? And so that's going to be the next theme of our show. I should have said that first, but so you go through all of these iterations of what the theme can be and how we pair that with the fundraiser, because then when we pair it with the fundraiser, the decor takes on that theme. The auction packages take on that theme. The cocktails served at the bar take on that theme. So everything is just sort of, you know, inundated and immersed in what that theme is. And so you go through the iterations. We've had water, we've had a show called Red, we've had a show called Forgotten Spaces, which was urban and kind of industrial. We've had Emerald as a show, you know, all these different things that artists are like, wow, how can I do that? Last year we did 5 Senses, really as a jump start, as a kickoff to one of our newest programs that we offer in the senior living centers. But this year is Metals. So however that artist may interpret metals. So we've got a lot, probably the number one email I answer is, does it have to be metal? No. You know, we want, and it even says within the guidelines, if you go to our website, artintheloft.org, you're going to click on a link and it'll give you the whole rundown. Artists can submit up to 3 pieces. It is paid $35, but it gets you up to 3 pieces to submit. Everything is juried on an online platform. And then if in the show, the artwork is brought in, we hang it, then the juror will come in and actually do best of show, second place, third place in person.
Wow.
Because a lot of the time, an online submission looks completely different to in person. Because we've even had past jurors be like, oh, that's much smaller than I thought. Not that that makes a big difference, but then you can see details better. You can get a feel for how they really took on that theme. So Metals is this year. Submission period is open right now and runs through the middle of September. So we got about 3-4 weeks left for submissions. People, if they need help, you know, because there's like certain pixels and it's got to be in a JPEG format and all this kind of thing. So if anybody needs help with that, contact our staff, contact myself, call us at Art in the Loft, and we can help you submit. You know, we can get your stuff. You know, we don't want that, even though we do things digitally and through technology, we don't want that to become a barrier for someone submitting. So we'll help you take on that whole thing. We'll help get you an account created. And then once all the artwork is juried in and accepted, we have about a week to set up. And then we open up on October 5th with an artist reception and awards ceremony. And then the whole show runs for a month and then ends on our fundraiser day, which is November 9th. So,
you know, and what people really need to know too is what a shining light that your organization is on this community. I mean, you walk into that space and you're greeted by Mitchell was there that day at the front desk. Fantastic. Fantastic person who was, you know, very knowledgeable about everything that was there, and just the whole, you know, ambiance of, like you said, it's from left to the right side of the building. There is beautiful artwork. Yep. I think I walked out with some coffee mugs, some beautiful ceramic coffee mugs, and a Willie Nelson print.
Oh,
I had to get the Willie.
Must have been a Chuck Schroeder pen and ink.
It was.
Yeah, there you go.
It was. But it was just, it's an awesome opportunity to go up there and support, you know, what you're doing, local artists, and, you know, it's an incredible place.
Well, it is, and I'm glad you kind of paired that with community too, because really what we're doing is we're showcasing the best of Northeast Michigan. Mm-hmm. But the juried show is an opportunity, because some people say, well, that person's not from Michigan or that, you know. But what that does, for example, the artists from California, where we get to bring in those works, people from here get to see that work now because of this opportunity. And that's, you know, that's another thing where it's just opening a door for more exposure to art. And every student that walks through the door gets to see that artwork as well. So it's just really, you know, like you said, we are kind of transported. You come off that elevator and you're like, oh, we're different, where are we? You know, and you can see the water and you can see all this stuff. And it just plays a huge factor into what we do. In fact, we have now 6-7 weeks of weddings straight every Saturday. So there's even more bodies up there, more eyes on the artwork and things like that, but also just a venue to be, you know, immersed in the arts.
Awesome, and we're going to continue this conversation when we come after the break. But stay tuned after the break as we continue to talk about the wonderful things that Art in the Loft and our community is doing. Welcome back, everyone. We're still here talking with Justin with Art in the Loft. Hey, Justin.
I'm still here.
Me too.
All right.
So, you know, the first part of the program, we talked a lot about the juried art exhibits and what it means to the community, and, you know, the 34 wonderful people that, you know, that submit, and the summer review program. Let's talk a little bit about the Ready, Set, Create and some of the outreach programs that you have in the community.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So, you know, end of summer, going into fall always means kids back to school. And one of the biggest things for Art in the Loft and how we're involved with that is our partnership with the public schools and the parochial and the private schools as well. And that's through our Ready, Set, Create program. So that's our flagship arts education program. I want to say this is now going to be entering its 13th or 14th year. That's incredible. Which is incredible. And consistently seeing 350 to 400 students every single year. That number has never gone down. It's based off how many students of that age are in that region. But no matter what the schools have as far as, you know, their enrollment or whatever it might be, we see every single one at a certain age level. So this is geared towards 4th graders. It used to be 5th, moved to 4th. 5th ended up getting some like STAR-based stuff, and their schedules got overloaded. So we went down to 4th grade, and we've become sort of a mainstay with those 4th grade teachers and 4th grade. You know, if you go through, in 2nd grade gets Ready, Set, Swim, and then I don't know if 3rd grade has anything, but as they move up the ranks in school, they know that 4th grade means they get to come to Art in the Loft. And so they get really, you know, jazzed up about that. So what Ready, Set, Create does is it brings every single 4th grader in Alpena County, since this is funded by the Alpena County Youth and Rec Grant in the millage, which we've been a large part of making sure there's renewed. So whenever that's up for vote, we always want to make sure it doesn't increase taxes, keeps them the same. So we got to get that millage and get that clear. You know about that. But every single 4th grader in the county gets to come in for 4 weeks of consecutive arts education for an hour and a half each time. So to break that down a little bit, an average 4th grader in the school gets art once a week, and it's for 55 minutes. But that includes walking from their classroom down, getting the arts instruction, helping the teacher clean up, and walking back to their classroom. So you're probably looking at about 30 minutes of actual instruction time, where we pack in an hour and a half for 4 consecutive weeks. So they're walking away with one class is 3 weeks worth of art instruction from their school. So it's a complete supplement. We're not trying to replace the art teachers and their good work over there. In fact, we work really well with them during our Young Artists exhibit. We just want to supplement. And the caveat to supplement is that we direct all instruction through their curriculum. So last year it was through Michigan State Standards, all about Michigan history, which was great. And so we're going to continue that this year as well. Last year we used Native Ojibwa tribes that were a part of this land well before you and I were here, and their artwork to guide what they were creating in Art in the Loft classroom. So we're going to be doing that again, probably a little bit different in the Michigan history. We might move it up a few decades and see how that goes. But on top of every single public school student, Emmanuel Lutheran, All Saints, Pied Piper, we get all the parochial and private schools and the homeschool coach groups as well. So all said and done, we see about 400 students for 4 weeks of arts instruction. Our staff does a great job. Lane Blair Olson helps administrate that with me, and she helps find our perfect instructors for it. And again, because of the grant through the Alpena Youth and Rec Millage, we're able to do that, and then offset and actually leverage that grant through our membership and sponsorships too, which is just so important.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that you're doing a lot of really good things.
Yeah, there you go.
Stewarding the funds in a great way and leveraging them to, you know, attain more funding for these programs so you can expand and grow and collaborate with the teachers. I mean, it's never about stepping on toes with the school system or anybody, but it's, like you said, supplementing it. And that is so important and vital because it's just helping these kids develop.
Well, it has to be, especially when you're talking about the arts. So, you know, you got your core subject. It's always going to be science, English, language arts, math, you know, your mainstays. And you have to have those because that's what makes you become an adult and successful. But how do you get well-rounded? How do you think outside of the box? How do you actually go after and get that dream job you've always wanted? You supplement, and through the arts we think is one of the best ways to do that. And so we want to tap into their curriculum that they're having, so we have to have that great relationship, and that starts with the superintendent down. We've often invited the superintendent to come and visit. There was a hinging point too when sometimes administration changes on whether programs are viable, and the schools still want to be a part of that. And so, you know, I think we've proven our worth by making sure not only are we getting administrative support, teachers can't wait to bring their students to it, that we're then helping what they're doing in the classroom. Students are happy. Self-efficacy is so high, confidence is so high. They get to see them, you know, we'll get a student that's in there that art is their jam, man. And they get to do it once a week and they love that, but they get to show off when they come to Art in the Loft. You know, so that's their space, that's their home. And that's what we pride that on. So.
You know, and that's a perfect segue right into scholarship program.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, you know, Ready, Set, Create was always supposed to be a springboard, a jumping off point to experience other classes at Art in the Loft. You get to be here through your school, which is great, but then come back on a Saturday, come back in the summer to take our summer camps, do all these fun things. But as you know, a lot of the time funding is such a barrier in regards to, we can't put on those programs for free. We can for the schools through the Youth and Rec Millage for Ready, Set, Create, but our at-large public classes, we have to charge for those. We got to pay the instructor, overhead for keeping the lights on, we got to do supplies, all that good stuff, administrative costs. We never want the cost of a class, for example, $25 takes the kids in the kitchen class. We never want that cost to be like, parents can't do it. Or the loft is a
I know
lead.
that feeling really well.
Right. I mean, right, $25, like, man, it's a 2-hour class, $25. How am I justifying any expendable income I might have to do it on something that you get to do for 2 hours, So we, a few years back, we started a scholarship program. We have since exhausted our funds, which is great. I think that's, enough people out there said, we want to be a part of art. Maybe we just can't afford it, or I'm bringing 6 kids, and that's a lot on my pocketbook. And so the scholarship program has provided free classes for every single family that has applied. We have yet to turn down a scholarship. But now we're at a point where we need to do that again. Over the last 2 years with our scholarship program, we've gone through roughly $11,000, and that's serviced over 300 individuals. And so from ages 4 to 94. So, use that phrase. But we need to now get back, and we don't want to stop that scholarship program. We want to keep it going and allow anybody and everybody within our community to make arts for everyone possible. So that's what the scholarship is.
My friend.
All right.
I am it's amazing to talk with you.
I appreciate that.
I feel your passion. I see the great
things.
You
do.
I see firsthand the things that you're doing, but to hear the other side of, how these scholarships are impacting, how the millage funding is using to impact so many kids, it's just incredibly, I'm incredibly lucky to know a person like you, and this community is incredibly lucky to have you.
Well, I really appreciate that, and it's been great having the Boys and Girls Club kids over in the summer as well. So
thank you. I know they really enjoy it.
You guys do a great job with them. So.
But the next time we're on, we'll definitely talk about your upcoming fundraiser in October.
That sounds great. You got it. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks again, brother.
Yep.
And thank you all for joining us today as we continue to learn the world of nonprofits in our community. Stay tuned after the break for the ACC segment.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College, and I'd like to take our time together today to talk about things that have happened at the college this week. Big week at ACC. All faculty and staff who are off for the summer we're back on Monday, and we registered students all week, and classes start on Monday. So it's fun. It's a fun time. And it's good to have everyone back. So in our way of doing things, on Monday morning, I, among other folks, get up and speak to where we are at the college, what we've done well, what we could do better, what the future, what lies ahead, things that we need to be thinking about and get organized to deal with. And so I thought I'd share some of those thoughts with you today. And the first thing that we covered, or that I covered, was we're in the middle of a succession where a number of folks are retiring. People who have been at the college for 20 or 30 years in many cases. Tremendous employees, tremendous institutional knowledge, passion for experience, passion for students, for learning, for the mission, for ACC. So this is a significant, I guess, challenge, or you could look at it as a significant opportunity. I see it both ways. And so I named off the new folks that were new since the end of spring semester, since the end of May. And there were 20 new people, which represents slightly less than 20% of our entire workforce. So that's the kind of the place we're in as an institution. It's I bet 30 years ago there was a similar wave, and I think it probably speaks well to the college that folks come and they stay for a long time because they like it, they see the impact, they enjoy the work. They enjoy helping students succeed. These are all good. That's what we're trying to do. But, when those folks leave, we have to find new people to step in and bring fresh enthusiasm and ideas and skills and and keep the ship floating. And so that's kind of where we are. That's a big deal. Secondarily, people often ask, how are things going? And it's a very open question, a rational question, a question I don't mind answering a bit. It's very broad, but usually what they're boiling down to in the beginning is how is enrollment, and that is an important metric for sure. Enrollment is pretty good. It's a struggle almost everywhere. I've mentioned this numerous times, but it's true. Almost everywhere except for U of M and MSU and Michigan Tech to a degree. But we budgeted to be up 1%. That would be up 1% in credit hours, or the things that people pay for. I think we'll exceed that. And I think we will be in the range of 1.5 or 2% to the good. So that helps with the budget. In terms of head count, I think we will also be up about 1%. And that's a significant accomplishment indeed. So that's kind of where that is. We're still registering, this is Friday morning, we're still registering some dual enrolled students down in Clarkston. We have 50 students down there that want to take a course that we offer. This may be interesting to you. This has been a very productive, positive thing. Three of our program areas in our career and tech education field have joined together to create a 3-credit class, the first 5 weeks being, I'm not exactly sure what order it goes, but Introduction to Concrete Technology. Second 5 weeks would be Utility Tech, Introduction to Line Worker, these sorts of things. And the third would be, I think, Introduction to Engineering or Pre-Engineering. So it gives the CTE students really around the state now an opportunity to get a look at whether or not they want to go into those fields, or whether or not, in other words, they want to come to ACC to go through those entire programs. It's a very, very innovative, pertinent, smart package, and that is really boosting our enrollment. Clarkston, of course, is down in Oakland County. That's nowhere near Alpena, but there are 50 CTE students that want to take this course. So using WebEx, we can deliver it to them as easily as if they were really sitting in the classroom on main campus. So that's a good thing. From the state, we got a 4.7% increase in our appropriations on the base, which is historic, really. That kicks in October 1st when the state's fiscal year starts. And that'll help us do some things. And additionally, some things that happened in the last couple of weeks, the alumni director, Mary Egan, and foundation director, Brenda Herman, brought to campus some folks that were from the first 10 years of ACC graduating classes. So they found these folks, reached out to them, invited them to campus. They came, I think 10 came, 10 or a dozen. And it was neat on many levels. It was moving. And it was in part because that's Van Laer Hall, which is where we met, was the only building on campus at that time. So that's where all their classes were held. So it was, some had been to campus and some hadn't, so it was a journey back. But what they said that stuck with me, among many things they said, was how proud they were of the college and how it had grown over the years. The quality of the instruction, the care and concern for student success, the role that the college plays in the community and how seriously it takes that. And they just felt very good about their time many, many years ago at ACC. This, of course, is a wonderful thing to hear. And that's the thing that, while it's an intangible, kind of hard to really quantify, it is fundamentally important. And so that's what we're trying to do, and I think we're on a good track. Thank you, folks, for watching Talk of the Town. We'll see you again next week.
This has been Talk of the Town with your hosts Bradley Summers and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at WBKB11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production. All rights reserved.